I'm Hannah.
I'm Dan.
I'm Sean, and this is on Note to Self.
I was really anxious as a teenager. I had like really bad separation anxiety from my mum and stuff, and yeah, I suffered from anxiety really, really badly, to the point where it was quite difficult to go out and do things. But yeah, I managed to, like, the older I got, I managed to overcome it. And I think, yeah, like, if I looked back now, I'd probably tell myself that, like, it does get easier. And actually, like, if you really try hard to work at things and actually go out and do things that you want to do, my anxieties have completely resolved. I'm just a completely different person from when I was a teenager.
When I was in school, I was actually fortunate enough to be able to socialise with a lot of the people. I don't think I painted the picture of the typical outcast, but the people I tend to hang out with when I was there, we were into like metal and we were into punk, and I guess we were the outcasts, but maybe I didn't have the ability to socialise with everyone, but I felt like I did. I felt like I was cool enough to mingle with everyone. I was the guy who went to loads of shows, and then I would come back to school and I would want to tell people about the shows, but nobody would be interested whatsoever. And then I slowly found like one or two other people that were really into like punk. It was more hardcore for me back then. And I guess that's it. It was just a constant search for somebody who I can hang out with and have that relationship with. And yeah, I got there, just about. I guess if I could talk to myself now, I would say be comfortable being yourself. Because there was a period where it was like trying on different clothes. I was trying to see who I felt more comfortable hanging out with. And it never felt right. It never felt good. Until I started going to shows myself. I ended up hanging out with my brother a lot because he would go to shows. And that was my social circle. It was my brother and his friends, rather than people in my year at school. But yeah, I guess I'd just be more confident with what you actually like and be happy pursuing that, rather than trying to make other people happy and, you know, bend yourself to match other social circles.
I was just this like tubby emo kid learning to play drums when I was a teenager. I got bullied a fair bit when I was at school. I suppose, like, if I was looking back now and if I could tell like 14, 15-year-old Dan, it would be to have a little bit more confidence in yourself, because I've managed to get to a point where we're able to like hang out with some people that I idolised back at that age in what we do. So it's kind of like, you know, if you focus on something, you believe you can do something, because I've always wanted to be in a band like Creeper and play drums to the level I'm at now since I was that age. So it's kind of cool that I've been able to, you know, get myself to that stage and just to believe in yourself, really.
I think with me, I sort of, the 5 years we have at school, say, the first 3 I was kind of a little bit lost. I kind of had my thing, but didn't find the other people that were like that. And then for the last 2 years, I found a demographic of that are still my friends now to this day, that kind of had a likewise music taste and likewise ethic, and they kind of took what I liked and just enhanced it all. We were all in bands as kids, and then it grew from there to being, they now come to our shows and hang out still, and it's a really nice time, and I get to hang out with my friends that basically started at the age of like 14, what I'm now doing now, and without them I wouldn't have done that. But they kind of got me out of a rut of not really having friends. I used to hang out with I was thinking about this today, I used to hang out with my younger brother's friends at weekends, because I couldn't have a group to go to, so I'd have to sort of like tag along in a way, which is kind of not the most, it's not what every kid does, I don't think. So, but then finding, it sounds cliche, but finding punk and finding metal music kind of got me into a surrounding of like just a place to feel at home, and it just spiraled there for going to shows all the time, buying merch and buying CDs, to the point of obsession and hoarding picks from the stage and drumsticks and set lists. And it's just, now I have a bedroom wall that's just going to be the biggest struggle to move out of one day, because it's just like, these guys will be around my house and they see it.
Definitely not helping you move.
It's like thousands of CDs and vinyl and just every ticket I've ever had. and as many signatures as possible. Yeah. But to me now, I'd say, why did I worry? Like, I think I had the right mind and I had the right ethic. It's the people that were judging me that were wrong.
So when I was a teenager, I was very shy, very timid. I didn't have many friends. I'd moved schools because my parents had divorced, so I was going through a real weird period where everything was changing all at once. I'd moved schools and I hadn't made any new friends at all. I'd had a really bad time making new friends, and I was very strange and really out of place at the school I was in, I think, looking back on it. I was heavily into alternative music, so I used to spend a lot of my time listening to punk records and going to shows and things, but kind of on my own because I didn't have any people it was Southampton where I moved to, so I didn't have any people to go with. But what I did find eventually was I was sat on the bus to school one day and I was listening to, I think, The Offspring or something, and I was just singing along. I thought I was singing along in my head, but I was actually singing out loud a little bit. And another kid came and heard me singing and asked me to come sing with his band. And that was a big turning point for me in my life. I was really, really anxious as a kid. Had a really, really bad anxiety, and there was times I really hated leaving the house. Even like going to like the supermarket with my mum or something. I was like terribly anxious. And but the idea of doing a band and being a singer was something that I always aspired to do. And so I made a real jump. I made a conscious effort to go and try this thing out, and I ended up making really good friends with a guy called Daniel Falvey, and we wrote songs together and took apart punk songs. So while a lot of the other kids in our school were like all getting laid and going to parties and doing drugs, we were in a little scout hut in a place called Durley, which is like a farming village, trying to work out how to play NoFX songs. So I think now that having that experience, I've come on quite a journey since then. And I used to be sick to my stomach about going on stage and trying to sing, and I was so awful at singing. If you hear my band and think I'm awful at singing now, you won't believe how awful I was. And so I think if I had a note to myself, I would have asked myself if I could say something to my teenage self. I would try and suggest that maybe it's okay to try and leave the house a little more and try new things a little sooner than I did.